done. You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, the actor Ricky Tomlinson has accused David Cameron of failing to keep his promise of transparency over the failure to release secret papers referring to the 1970s trade union trial known as the Shrewsbury 24. Mr Tomlinson was jailed on conspiracy charges along with 5 other pickets. The Shadow Home Secretary Andy Burnham has released a dossier he claims shows top officials colluded to manipulate the trial. Our economics editor, Paul Mason, has more.
It was a rough decade, the 1970s, a decade of strikes, mass pickets and politicised policing. In 1972, when building workers struck for 12 weeks, the Conservative government launched a crackdown. Detectives fanned out to build a case of conspiracy against members of the Builders' Union. 2 years later, 24 pickets were tried, 2 were jailed. Des Warren and Ricky Tomlinson on the right, who went on to become an actor. Parliament was shown evidence today alleging that MI5 and the Foreign Office gave secret intelligence to a journalist who then made a documentary about the defendants, associating them with a left-wing plot to destabilise Britain, and remarkably by modern standards, that documentary was then shown while their trial was still in progress. The 2 men's conviction was the cause for demonstrations then, and 40 years later, MPs inside Parliament called for it to be quashed.
The documents I have revealed today, Mr Howarth, can only lead us to one conclusion. The Shrewsbury 24 were the convenient scapegoats of a government campaign to undermine the trades unions and the victims of a politically orchestrated show trial.
One memo from the head of a covert government propaganda unit in the Foreign Office says, "We consulted the Department of Employment and the Security Service, MI5. With their agreement, Mr Wyatt was given a large dossier of our own background material. Use of the service is being kept under continual review by the Lord Privy Seal." When Prime Minister Edward Heath saw this, he scribbled, "We want as much of this as possible." The use of conspiracy charges against trade union members was so controversial that after Tomlinson's release, the law was reformed.
The sentences that were handed down far outstripped any sentence that was brought against trade unionists in over 200 years.
And Ricky, you were one of those people convicted. How do you feel today?
Well, I feel very angry and very bitter, and they still won't come clean. I was lucky I got out and I got myself a new career. Des Warren never worked again.
Campaigners say the documentary skewed the verdict so badly they should be quashed. But we can't show you the documentary because the government has the only copy and won't release it on grounds of national security.
Paul Mason reporting.
I've been getting